यशोदानंदन ब्रज रंजन यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरावनचारी कुंज विहारी राधा माधव कुंज विहारी राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय श्री राधा कुंज बिहारी की श्री श्री गौरता की श्रील प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की कलियुग पावन हरिनाम संकीर्तन की ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरोन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौरांगी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Yeah. Today we are going to speak on a very important topic called as importance of austerities. In the scriptures, there are two types of people explained. One is called a Kripana, another one is called a Brahmana. A Kripana is a person, the actual meaning of the word Kripana is miserly. Miserly means somebody has a very great wealth, but they don't know how to use it. How to use that. For example, say somebody gifts a person with a Mercedes-Benz car, but he uses it for, because he's a farmer, he doesn't know how to use it. He uses it for plowing a field. That's a very underuse of Mercedes-Benz, isn't it? Mercedes-Benz is supposed to plow in smooth roads. But if somebody uses it in a field for plowing, naturally the car also will get spoiled. Isn't it? What is to be used in a field? Tractor, isn't it? Bull or a tractor you are supposed to use. And tractor is very rugged machine also. Similarly, the body of a donkey or a body of a buffalo, a rugged body, body of a pig. So they are meant for enjoying sense gratification. Whereas the human body is meant for sense control. So human body can be compared to a Mercedes-Benz car. Very smooth car, which is supposed to actually fly on smooth road of spiritual life. That's the meaning of this. But if a person is using the human body for doing the activities which animals do, which we will explain what it is today, then the human body is considered human. Such a human being is called a, what is he called by? The name? Kripana. He is called as a Kripana. Miserly person. Who misuses his human body. So in the Shastras you will find there is a word you will often find in the Vedic literature called Apavarga. The word Apavarga actually comes from Pavarga. You all know Kachata Tapa? Kachata Tapa. Pa. The Pa Varga has 5 letters. What are they? Pa, Fa, Ba, Bha and Ma. 5 things. So this is called Pa Varga. Each of them have a meaning. So Pa means Parishram. Each of them. Fa represents Fena. Ba means Bandhan. And Bha means Bhaya. And Ma means Mrityu. So each letter has a word corresponding to it. So the Pa, Parishram, what is this Parishram that the Shastras talk about? Rishabhadeva, a great king, he had 100 children, 100 sons. He called all of them together and he himself was giving class to his own sons. He was a great enlightened soul and he is an incarnation of God also, Rishabhadeva. So one of the very first teachings he taught his children was this: my dear children, my dear sons, in this world one should not work like dogs and hogs and camels in a human body. The human body is not meant for such kind of hard labor, he said. Now, which is the most hard-working animal if you see? It is a donkey. The donkey carries a very big boj of a cloth or something, heavy cloth on his back, and goes to the riverside, and then the clothes are washed by the dhobi. And then after washing the wet cloth he puts on his body, which is even more heavier, and he brings it all back. And every day he does it. Sometimes goes a long distance walking. But if you ask the donkey, why do you work so hard? Actually, the donkey eats only a palmful of grass every day, which he can get anywhere. Is it not? But for that palmful of grass, he has to work so hard, working under a dhobi. Yeah. So, the donkey in Prabhupada, one of his purports, Namam Dushkritana Mudha, that Prabhupada talks about the donkey. He says one of the most hardworking animal. In the same manner, he says, the human beings also work very hard, especially in this age. People work like almost 12 to 14 hours minimum nowadays. Sometimes even 16 hours also. And if you ask, why do you work, sir, so hard? And the answer is that we want money. Why do you want money? They will say, Papi pet ka sawal, they will say. If you don't earn money, how can we survive? We cannot just, wait that money will come of its own. It is true, you have to endeavor. But we should not over-endeavor, he says. Actually, to keep our body and soul together, one doesn't have to work very hard. So much hard for keeping the body and soul together. If you see, there are people leaving from Pune to Mumbai for a job in the early morning. Have you seen? 5 o'clock they leave and night they come at 11 o'clock. All day they work hard. Because they get some 500 rupees or 1000 rupees extra if they work in Bombay. And people are ready to go from Pune to Mumbai and work and come. Similarly, if you are standing in the railway station in Bombay, you will find how people are hanging out of the trains. The early morning they leave and night they come back. You have seen that? So you can see the people working very hard. You go to Dadar, the people carrying suitcases and running here and there very, very fast. Men, women nowadays. Even women also. Nowadays men, women both go for job. Why two people go for job in a family? Because they think one man's money is not enough. Because Bombay, the cost of living is very high. So naturally both the people, husband, wife are working. Still they find money falling short. Just like if you have a tokri basket, you draw water from the well and you pour it in that. All the water, finished immediately. Again you pour, it's finished. So money, what they earn and bring, gets finished. But try to imagine, how does the money get finished? It is because of their own mind which makes them finish the money so quickly. Like one day, I was sitting in an auto behind. One auto wala was asking me, Swamiji, आप ब्रह्मचारी है क्या? He asked me. I said, yes. शादी वादी नहीं करेंगे? He asked me. नहीं, शादी करने की योजना नहीं है. ब्रह्मचारी रहने की इच्छा. I said. Then he said, मेरा भी इच्छा आप जैसे बन जाऊं. Then I asked him, क्यों? क्या हो गया? What happened to you? फिर क्या प्रभु जी, बीबी इतना सताती है. He said, 5,000 कमाता हूं. Then he said, कितना आपका खर्चा है? How much is your expenditure? 5,000 कमाता हूं लेकिन खर्चा हो जाता है 8,000. And he said, 3,000 हर महीना कर्जा लेना पड़ता है. He said, really? How? Then I told him, after the Gadi stopped, I told him, tell me your expenditure. What is your expenditure? He said, for my tobacco I have to spend so much. For my drinking I have to spend so much. For my wife I have to spend so much. For my children I have to spend so much. And more than half the expenditure, he said, was because of his own vyasan, his own bad habits. More than half the money. I said, then he taught him the chanting. I said, if you chant Hare Krishna and control your mind and senses, of course he is also going to prostitute. He has spent some money for her also. You see? So if you are controlling your mind and senses, then your expenditure will come to 2,000 or 3,000 rupees, which will be less than your earning, less than your salary, what you are getting. In this way, people think they have to work hard to earn because they cannot control their senses and mind. That is why any amount of money you bring by doing parishram, all that money goes off. Like sometimes you go to somebody's house, they have one car which has no top. That's the open car. They say that's for evening ride, to go for outing and other things. And they have another car which is a formal car to take to office. Is it not? And then they said, I have one car for my son, one car for my daughter. Similarly, you enter their house, you will find one TV in each room. There are 4 TVs or 5 TVs. They say that we all want to watch different channels. My old grandmother, grandfather, they want to watch one channel. They'll be hearing some Carnatic music or something. And then I want to watch another channel. My son wants to watch cricket. So give one TV to everybody. Naturally, you will have more expenditure, is it not? When we cannot control our senses, naturally the expenditure shoots up. And when expenditure shoots up, what people do? Then they have to work hard to earn more money. And life becomes very fast. very fast, all day working hard. So this is parishram. And the parishram leads to second one. What is it? Far stands for pain. You know what is pain? Sometimes you see a bull or a donkey carrying a very heavy weight. There is pain coming in the mouth. Foaming in the mouth and working hard. You say, no? That type of hard work. Yeah. When the load is very heavy on the back, then pain comes in the mouth. And when the sun is very hot, you have to go a long distance. People work very hard in this world. So, Kripana means he doesn't consider this. Why should I work so hard in this world? Like the donkey is working hard to eat a little bit of grass. Even if the donkey doesn't have that master, he goes around here and there, he can get some grass. Is it not? Grass is there everywhere. You easily get it. Similarly, you will find, nowadays you find the children are driven at the 7th or 8th standard itself, study for, gear yourself towards IIT, JEE. Yeah, by the time they come to 10th standard, somehow you have to get into IIT, or at least NIT, or at least engineering, or medicine or something. You have to become MBBS or you have to become engineer. And if you don't make it, at least go for some MSc science or something, and then eventually try to, go into IIT for your PhD or something. People, you always find there is a constant push. And then after that, study. After that, what? Then after that, at the end of the study, then there is a tension for the job. When you get a job, then work hard, earn. That is the kind of push that everybody gets from all relatives, friends. You will see that. Everybody goes in the same direction. Without any consideration of goal of life, meaning of life, purpose of life. What is this body given for? You see, this body is like a computer in one sense. And our brain is like a CPU. You know CPU in a computer? Central Processing Unit. What does it do? Do you know what is the purpose of CPU? Yeah. Process and control. But how does it do? What does it do exactly? It controls the whole computer, correct? It gives, it actually the decision maker in a computer. So our intelligence is, like all the decisions are made by the CPU, correct? Yeah, because everything is sent to the CPU and then it processes the information and gives the decision and then it goes back to the hard disk again. In the hard disk we have many softwares which you use. Is it not true? So our mind is compared to the hard disk, where you have all the different types of desires and plans. So all your files are there. Sometimes you open one file which is equivalent to, opening one desire and making a plan to further expand on it. So our mind is like a hard disk which stores many, many desires. Yeah. And then the mind gives command to the hands and legs which are like servo motors, with like linear motion or rotary motion. Is it not true? So the Shastras, and who is the soul? Who is the soul in the computer? No. Microprocessor is the mind actually. No, not the current also. Anybody, yeah? He's saying memory. No, memory is actually like what you store in your brain. Brain also has memory. Yeah? Yes? You don't know? How many of you attended Utkarsh camp? You attended? Raise your hands. Okay. How many have attended Spurti camp? Okay. So in the computer, who is the soul? Soul is the operator of the computer. There is nothing. Computer is just a machine, isn't it? Similarly, in this body, who is the soul? The operator of this body. Is it not true? So the brain is like a hard disk or a microprocessor or whatever. Can microprocessor work by itself? No. Yeah, microprocessor requires a person to key in, no? You have to key in. So who is the person who is keying in? The soul. So we have the soul, we have the mind, we have the brain, or the intelligence, isn't it? So, if the intelligence and the mind, they are only fed with information which is about material body and the material world. Nothing more than that. That's why whole world is running here and there like this, people. They have no knowledge of God, they have no knowledge of spiritual world. They have no knowledge of meaning of life. They are using this wonderful body just for working hard and accumulating. And that money accumulated is also like water put in a tokri. It goes up. And they work more hard, foaming in the mouth. So, the soul is actually the karta. It is said in the Bhagavad Gita there is a verse which says Purusha Sukha Dukkhanam Bhoktrutve Heturuchyate. He says our Sukha Dukkha comes by the way the soul decides to act. If you decide to act only materially, working hard and accumulating money, we bring more and more suffering to ourselves without understanding the meaning and goal of life. You see? That's why the fena comes in the mouth. And the result of fena is what? Subsequently bandhan. Ba stands for bandhan. What is that bandhan? Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani, jatare shayanam. Again and again the soul is given new bodies. Because we have wrong desires in our mind. For executing that we are given new bodies. Sometimes somebody is in a dog's body, somebody in a cat's body, somebody is in a camel's body, somebody is in a horse's body, somebody is in aquatic, somebody is bird. Everybody gets different bodies. Because our own desires are creating these bodies, you see. So we are the creator of our destiny, the future destiny. Like, you go to a tailor and you give an order for making a particular type of shirt and pant. He makes and gives you. You gave the order and he makes and gives you. And you pay the price. Our karma is like that. So, then we get into bandhan. And then there is also bhaya. What is the bhaya? The life in city is of great bhaya. Fear, great fear. What is the fear? Everybody is afraid of everybody else. You can see people having a beware of dog. They put a board and the dog is standing at the door. You have seen in the houses? And they have a tall gate. They have a tall wall also. And over the wall they put broken glass pieces also. You have seen that? Yeah. Not only that, even after you enter the house they have a lens to see. Isn't it? And then they have a chain also to make sure that, even after seeing somebody doesn't barge in and kill me or something. There is a great fear everywhere. You go to the banks, they have a gunman standing there. But anybody can come and loot the money. Everywhere people have fear. Yeah. In fact, in America, even in the schools, the teachers have SOS band, they call it. SOS means save our souls. If some child is showing a gun at the teacher can immediately phone up to that number and somebody will come and protect the teacher. Yeah, and the children have got panic buttons on the walls. If any child is threatened by another child with a gun, beep, like that they can put a button, panic buttons. Yeah. In the schools, if you see. Yeah. In this way, you see there are burglar alarms also in homes, bungalows and that. Because everybody is fearful. And the fear increases more and more when people become materialistic, more and more. And the more you become spiritual, the fear reduces. Like you go to some remote villages in India, you find the doors are open in the house. Night also they sleep with the door open so nice wind can blow. You have seen that? Actually, why there is no fear? There is not much in the house to steal also. Is it not? They don't store much. So there is nothing, people are not running fast. People work some 4 months, 5 months in a year. And rest of the time they have ample of time to hear Rama and Mahabharata Katha and all. Yeah, their eyes are fixed on the ultimate goal of life. They live very peaceful lives. And then there is time for relationship also. Mother, father, children, grandmother, grandfather, they can sit there. On one hand they are hearing spiritual, discourses. On the other hand they have time with each other. There is a very thick bond between the family members. Is it not true? But you see the life in the city, people are doing parishram, they are having fena in the mouth, they are getting bandhan. Bandhan means more and more bondage, suffering. And then there is bhaya also. And finally what? Mrityu. Finally death. Everybody goes through this death. Everybody has to go through. Nobody can escape death. Jatasihi dhruvam mrityur, dhruvam janma mritasya, Krishna says. If you have taken birth, the body has to die one day. Just like if you get a tonic bottle, expiry date is written. Once you get a new tonic bottle, there is expiry date. Similarly, the bodies are given to us along with expiry date written. Although you may not know when it is. But the death is written for everybody. So this is called what? Pavarga. You understand? Pavarga means this parishram, fena, Bandhan, Bhaya, Mrityu keeps repeating, Janam after Janam. So, intelligent person means we should think that he is called as a Brahmana. He is not a Kripana. Kripana means again and again he goes through Pavarga. You understand? Again and again, repeatedly. Now we got Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi. Over. Again, Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi. He goes through the same cycle again and again. He is called as who? Kripana. Why Kripana? A Kripana stores a lot of money but even doesn't eat properly or sleep properly. Sometimes he puts a wet towel in his belly so that he will not have to spend money for purchasing food or something. He doesn't spend money. And he stores in the bureau a lot of money, and then one day he is dead and gone. And the money is left behind. He is called as a Kripana. Similarly, we have got a human body, but we don't use it for God's God realization or self-realization. Then such a person is also called as Kripana. You understand now? He quits the world like cats and dogs, and he gets the body of cats and dogs again. He is called as a Kripana. Now you see, in your college days, you come across so many of your students who drink, who smoke, who go to movies, who roam with girls. They try to enjoy life to the best possibility. And many times they get caught in some bad, dangerous addictions. Whether it be, becoming an alcoholic or a drug addict, or a fellow who falls down with a girl and then he is caught by the police or by the parents of the girls, and all the complications, you can see that. This is very commonly seen in the world. Most living beings, they get caught in, 90% of the living entities, they get caught in these things. So, they are Kripanas. This is called Kripana. Kripana means you work hard for material life and you don't become happy. There is no happiness. Although there is a talk about happiness. It is called a Shruti Sukha, Prahlad says. Prahlad says, what is it verse? He says, Shruti Sukha, Mrigatashni Rupa, Kveda Kalevaram Ashesha Rujam Viroha. What is this body? Prahlad says, it is simply a body of diseases. He says, varieties of diseases as one gets older. And one is promised many pleasures, but one never gets any pleasure, he says. So, this is Kripana. Opposite of Kripana is who? Brahmana. Brahmana means what? Brahma Janati. Iti Brahmana. He can see long term. Like you see, there are many goats standing in a slaughterhouse. One after another they go. Like 20 goats are standing. And at one end there is a man who is Kasai, who is cutting the neck of goats. And that goat is screaming. But other goats are hearing the sound, but still they continue eating the grass. You see? Now imagine if you put 20 boys and the first boy is being slaughtered. Do you think the other 20 boys will be standing there? Of course they may be given nice food. They may be taken to a 5-star hotel to eat nice food. Will they be standing like that? Immediately you will try to run for your life. That is intelligence. That is Brahmana. Brahmana doesn't want to go through this Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi and be cut. He wakes up. He understands, hey, what is going on in this world? This is a horrible place. Here we are finding that everybody gets old, although nobody wants to get old. Everybody dies. And then you don't know where are they going. And then a person wakes up, then he studies Shastra. He is a Brahmana. His eyes are open. It's like a person who looks ahead. And another thing, the Brahmana not only thinks about old age and death and everything, even while living. The Brahmana understands in this world, we are cheated for enjoyment. For example, a donkey, they put a stick like this for a donkey, and they hang a carrot. And the 1 feet donkey goes ahead, the carrot also goes 1 feet ahead. Isn't it? Because it is tied to the neck only. The more you go near, the more it keeps going. Similarly, nowadays you find there are a lot of companies which give a kind of praloban, the kind of allurement for the boys that we will give you foreign chance. So 1,000 boys are working hard for foreign chance, only 4 or 5 go. But there are 1,000 people made to work very hard. So, but most of the boys, you ask them, hey, why are you staying in the company? At morning you went at 7 o'clock and night you are coming at 10:30, 11. Why do you work so many hours? He said, better prospects. What will they say? better prospects. I'm waiting. I want to just, impress my boss. So he will send me to Germany, send me to London. I will go to America. I can earn 1 lakh rupees every month. I can make a big money. So they want to impress the boss, and they work hard. But most of the guys who are mediocre, you may stay very long in the company, but they don't get better prospects. Because the better prospects are reserved for some guys who are too smart. The top few fellows, they get the better prospects. Of course, they may work hard also and get better prospects also, but most 99% of the guys are staying behind, but they work hard like donkeys. You understand, no? One time, a Dhobi had a donkey, and this donkey was working very hard. But there was another intelligent donkey. He told him, "Hey, why are you working under that fellow Dhobi? Just leave him and come with me. We can live in the jungle very happily. You get grass everywhere." This donkey said, "No, you don't know. Other day, the Dhobi was shouting at his daughter, 'If you don't obey me, I will get you married to this donkey.' So I am waiting for that better prospect. Someday she will be married to me," he was telling. Do you think the Dhobi will ever marry his daughter to the donkey? So our better prospects in this world are like that only. So this is actually a Kripana again. Kripana cannot see that many promises are given in this world, but one is cheated in this world. So the promises made by Maya are enormous, but the results given by Maya are very little. Just like if you are in a desert, say you are in a desert, you are very thirsty for water. Somebody comes in a helicopter in which it's written in big letters, fresh, cooling, Bisleri waters. And bottle picture is put up there. And you are seeing helicopter goes round and round. You are also watching. When is it going to come down for a long time? And you are hankering, with a tongue thirsty for the water. At last the helicopter comes down, you are happy. You tell him, "Please give me 10 bottles in the hands." And one fellow comes out with only 1 bottle. You tell him, bring more. And he also shows the bottle. There is little water at the bottom. Less than a millimeter high. Little water, and he tells you, "Please show the hand." And show the hand and gives you 1 drop. Will it satisfy you? And you take that water, put in the mouth, and then tell him, "Please," like Charanamrita is giving you very little only. "Please give me more." He says, "Sorry, it's over now," he says. This is material pleasure. Material pleasure is like that only. The promise is very big, but what is given is very little. And you will experience it. You will experience it as you proceed with your life in this material world. Intelligent people can realize it. And other people keep hankering. And that fellow climbs up and goes into the helicopter, and then he goes round and round again. He keeps watching, and when will he come again? With another bottle he'll go and drink. So, a Brahmana is also intelligent. Even while living, even in young age, a Brahmana can see that the promises made by Maya are simply cheating. She just gives you dollar notes which you cannot eat. But Krishna gives you grains, He gives you fruits, He gives you water, He gives you milk, He gives you sunlight, He gives moonlight, He gives the medicinal herbs, everything He gives. What Krishna gives is tangible in this world. And what Maya gives is simply cheating. Like, that during the Second World War, people are carrying in buckets currency notes to shops to buy some palmful of rice. Because that time there was a big crisis. Even if you give a bucket full of 100 rupee notes, still you will get only a palmful of rice in those days. So currency note had no value that time. Similarly, Maya offers us many things which give very titillating pleasure for a short while. So Brahmana doesn't chase after that. The Brahmana is actually supposed to be a very intelligent man. Brahmana, those who come to spiritual life are considered Brahmanas. So, Kripana means he's a miserly person. He takes the human body to do the same activities what animals do. Eating, sleeping, mating, defending, again and again. Same old activity. You can say sometimes man grows in age, but not in maturity. Like you find, when I went to Chennai, I saw one man who was 66 years old and sitting and watching TV, cricket. All his teeth are gone. When he laughs, no teeth are seen. And he's enjoying all day, morning to evening, 8 hours, 10 hours watching cricket. His age has gone, but he's not preparing to go back to Godhead. When Prabhupada went to America, he also saw old people playing cards. In India also you find, no? Even in temple people sit and play in some temples. If you see, you go to some Vittal temples on the way, sometimes you go in the train, there is a Gopuram, there is a temple veranda, and people are sitting and playing cards. You have seen that? Yeah. Because they don't know the value of human body. Prabhupada saw in America also, some old men were sitting in a bank of a pond and catching fish, because their life was boring for them. They want to do something. Somebody is reading, putting a glass and reading newspaper, tiny letters, trying to read, cover to cover everything in a newspaper, practically reading 4 to 5 hours a day, because they have nothing to do, you see. So, Prabhupada told the boys and girls in America, you are all young boys and girls, you are intelligent, and you are willing to listen, so I am teaching you. Prabhupada said, well, look at these old fellows, he said, old dog cannot learn new tricks, he said. It's useless to teach these fellows, they are not interested. And they are going to die like cats and dogs. Like one man, Prabhupada saw, he was playing this golf, Golf you call it? No, what is it, which they put a ball in a hole? Golf only, isn't it? Snooker they call it. And Prabhupada saw old people playing that and trying to put the ball in a hole. And Prabhupada said, look at this fellow, all his life he has spent like this only. And Prabhupada said, he will become a rat in that hole or a cockroach in that hole, you see. So, life, one who is wasting his human body is called as Kripana. And Shastra says, don't be a Kripana, become a Brahmana. Says. A Brahmana is one who performs austerity. Now we are coming to austerity. What is austerity? See, austerity means tapas, we call it. Tapasya. Tapasya means that which you do to get the long-term spiritual benefit. That is called tapasya. Voluntary inconvenience you accept for the sake of getting everlasting bliss. You see, Rishabdev told his sons, Tapo divyam putraka yena sattvam shuddhyet yasmat brahma saukyam tu anantam. It's a very beautiful verse. He says, my dear sons, do tapa, but not tapa like the donkeys or the stool-eating hogs. Do tapasya which is divyam. Divyam means divine. The word divine comes from divya. Divine. You see? Divine comes from divya. In Sanskrit it is divya. So tapo divyam. Tapo divyam means you should perform spiritual tapasya, he says. Somebody may ask, his sons might have asked him, why should we do divya tapasya? Now divya tapasya is what? Like rising early in the morning, taking a bath, cleaning the body and coming to chant Hare Krishna. Mind may be reeling, one may say that, oh, I am not liking this chanting. Chanting is not tasty. But still you do it. It's a tapasya. You do the tapasya because he says the result is what? Divya tapasya. Tapo divyam putraka yena sattvam. Your mind will occupy the nature of sattvata. Sattvaguna. Sattvaguna means above tamaguna and rajoguna. There is sattvaguna. Pure habits you can cultivate. Shuddhyet. Your mind will become, Shuddhyet means what? Purified. Yasmat Brahma Saukyam to Ananta. You will get Brahma Saukyam, he says. Brahma Saukyam means spiritual pleasure. Spiritual pleasure means that pleasure which can never be taken away from you. Permanent pleasure. It will always remain with you. But the material pleasure is something, when you come in contact, it gives you little pleasure. And then the pleasure gets over. When you want more, then you have to hanker for more and more. Then you have to work more and more hard. That is material pleasure. You see? Prabhupada will explain it in one of the verses we'll read now. So this is the spiritual pleasure for which you should be ready to do austerities. Tapasya. Why tapasya? In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Yajnadana tapaschaiva pavanani manishinam. Manishi means a very intelligent person. It's called Manishi. Learned person or a wise person. Manishinaha. Pavanani Manishina. The great learned people, what they do? They do three things. Yajna, Dana and Tapa. Why? Pavanani. They become pavan, purified, by doing these three things. So anybody can say, what is yajna? Yeah? Sacrifice. So what is that sacrifice? What is the meaning of sacrifice? Who can say? Yeah? Yajna means that which is performed for the pleasure of Vishnu. That which you do for the happiness of Vishnu is called yajna. Like Prabhupada told, look at my disciples, see this Giriraj Das, look at this Gopalakrishna. All this became great souls later on, Gopalakrishna Goswami Maharaj and Giriraj Swami Maharaj. So Prabhupada was showing once to some karmis, some materialistic men who came to meet Prabhupada. Look at these people. Don't you see them working? They work. But at the end of the month, they don't take a check. Paycheck from me, Prabhupada said. They don't take. Oh really, Swamiji? They work for you, but they don't take a check? They don't take any salary? Prabhupada said, yes. Because they are working for Krishna. It's a voluntary work. It's a pure work. That is called yajna, he said. Working for Krishna's pleasure. Like you go to temple, you tie all the flowers together and make a garland. Will you ask for some salary for that? Will you ask for some daily wages? You don't take. You do it out of love. That is yajna. That which is performed for the pleasure of God as a seva, that is yajna actually. Or like we perform yajna, in the yajna kund, Indraya Swaha Idam Namama. That is also done for the devatas, where you offer grains, ghee and silk and everything in the fire, which is called the mouth of Vishnu. So when you offer those things, you develop detachment and you give pleasure to Lord Vishnu. That is called yajna. And the principle of yajna is, pleasure for God and sacrifice for myself, oneself. Now somebody may say, why should we sacrifice? Yeah, in this world also you'll find, even materialistic people also sacrifice a lot to gain something in their life. Say singers, when they want to sing, they have to keep their throat proper. So what do they sacrifice? They sacrifice ice creams. Is it not? Because if they eat ice cream, the throat will be spoiled. Is it not true? Similarly, students who want to play cricket all day, they sacrifice the game. Why? When the examinations come, then they sacrifice playing. They also sometimes sacrifice sleep also. Whole night. How many of you remember you used to keep awake drinking some tea or coffee, keeping awake whole night? How many of you did it? Correct? Yeah. Otherwise you won't be an engineer now. To get into engineering you have to work very hard, is it not? So in material life also people do sacrifice. They have to sacrifice something for a higher thing. If you want to get something higher, you have to sacrifice something lower. The day before exam, people don't sleep at all. Many people, they work. And also they sacrifice comforts. Sometimes like the Indian boys go to America, to study in American universities. Like one boy from IIT Bombay, he tried different big universities. Big universities didn't give him seat also. And then there were universities like Alabama University, some university. He got a seat, but no scholarship. He said somehow he went to his uncle, aunt, everybody and begged and borrowed some money, 25,000 rupees, 30,000 rupees to make a ticket to go to America. Then he went to America. So he had to study in the university, but monthly he has to pay the fee, education fee. So he would go, of course in the daytime he would go to college, in the evening he has to go and wash cars. Yeah, he used to wash cars, repair cars, work hard. In America, there are like daily wages. You clean a house, you wash a car, you cut the grass, you take the dustbin thing and go and put it, you get some money for each, $10, $5. This is why he worked very hard to do his education. In this world, don't people work hard? So he sacrificed his luxury and comforts, in order to somehow or other make his education there. So, people in this world work hard, they sacrifice pleasures for getting another material thing, which is going to plunge them in more suffering only. Is it not? Whereas in spiritual life, you sacrifice for whom? For whom you sacrifice? For Krishna's pleasure. Like rising early in the morning, chanting Hare Krishna. This is also yajna actually. This is for the pleasure of Guru and Krishna. Guru is telling you, you do this, your heart will be purified. So we do it. Similarly, we do Mangalarati. We raise our arms, we chant and dance. Sometimes we will be lazy to raise our arms. Oh, can't I chant Hare Krishna like this only? Why should I raise my hands? Isn't it? Or somebody may say, why should I dance? Can't I sit in one corner? Somebody may think, no, we dance for the pleasure of Krishna. We do this activity. Somebody may say, Prabhu, every day we have to get up or what? Can't we sleep one day till 10 o'clock? Isn't it? Of course, night you can sleep as early as you want. But morning you have to get up in time so that you can do your chanting and hearing and everything. Like one boy asked, Prabhuji, is there class every day? Can't we have class only once in a week or twice a week? Other days, we can sleep well, sleep more. Yes, I said, yes, you can sleep, but you have to stay somewhere out. If you have to be inside our voices, we Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Every day we read, every day we hear. And this is for the pleasure of God and for our purification of our heart and for the pleasure of God. We do that. Yajna. Tapas also is a similar principle. Now, if even when a rich man wants to perform a yajna, he has to call a brahmana, and he creates a yajna kunda and gets all the samagris required, calls all the people. He takes some trouble to perform the yajna for the pleasure of God. Similarly, tapa also involves some pain. Voluntary acceptance of pain for long-term happiness. Not just long-term, everlasting happiness. Brahma Saukyam to Anantam, he says. Anantam means what? Eternal, unending. Sarve pyete yajna vido yajna kshapita kalmashaha yajna shishta amrita bujo yanti brahma sanatanam. Krishna is telling, all this dravya yajna, tapo yajna, yoga yajna, tatapare, swadhyaya jnana yajnascha yataya samshita prataha. All these different yajnas he is saying. Dravya yajna, somebody gives dravya, dana and all these things. The result he says, yajna kshapita kalmasha. All his sinful reactions are destroyed. And yajna shishta amrita bujo. You get amrita, he says. Amrita means eternal results you get. So we all have two bank accounts we have. One is material bank account, another one is spiritual bank account. Like in your material bank account, you are also accumulating more. Now you have your engineering degree is going to come to you when you pass out. After that, when you do job, in your material bank account, you will also have money. Is it not? And the money will go in lakhs and gradually many, many lakhs. Eventually you may become a lakhpati or a crorepati also if you wish. Then you may have property in your name. Then you may have company in your name. All these things. You may become a CEO of a company also. So this is your material bank account. At the time of your death, the material bank account is left behind. And the soul, naked soul comes out of the body. And then he goes next body. Material bank account remains in this world only. Your house remains, your bank balance remains, your laptop remains, your car remains, your wife remains, children remain. And you have to come out. And the naked soul has to go to the next body. And when he is born, with the naked body he is born. Isn't it? And when he is born again, he has to be sent to school for LKG, UKG, like that. So one should always remember this. The material bank account is finished at the time of death. Whereas spiritual bank account continues. It accrues birth after birth. It continues. So that is why we do yajna. You understand? Why we do yajna? Because that continues birth after birth. It comes with you. Like right now you all came to Utkarsh and then you have joined the voice. Because your old spiritual bank account is impelling you to become a devotee. Because that is continuing. Whatever, probably 20%, 30%, 50%, 80%, something you have done. From there you are continuing now. So that is why it's called Anantam. It's imperishable result. You cannot destroy it. It's just not possible. It's impossible to. Just like, for example, in computer also, there are some files you cannot delete. You know that? Any of you have seen such files in the computer? Like some command files and all, they have certain files they have. You go there, you highlight it and you put delete, it will give some signal. It will give, hey, don't try to delete this. This is not supposed to be deleted. Because it's a very vital file, so they have put some lock or something in that. Similarly, your spiritual account is like that. Nobody can delete it. It remains permanently and it keeps accumulating also. That's another thing. The more you do spiritual thing, it keeps accumulating more and more. And the nature of the spiritual account is, it stays in your system and keeps giving you happiness. More and more. Like for example, you will see good activities you do in this world, you feel happiness. You will see. Say you have 2 chapatis. You give one chapati to your dog and one chapati you eat. You feel happiness, although you have given dan. Yeah. On the other hand, imagine you eat both the chapatis and take a stone and drive away the dog. Will you feel happiness? Your belly gets chapati, but your mind doesn't feel happy. Why? Because it's a selfish activity. So even a selfless material activity gives you happiness. What to speak of a selfless spiritual activity? It gives eternal happiness, everlasting happiness. God has designed His world in such a way, you do good activities, you feel happy. Like you do yogasanas, you'll feel happy in the body and mind also. After doing yogasanas, you'll feel, mind will give you a feeling that you are like a palawan. You're very strong if you do yogasanas. Similarly, give up all the bad activities, you feel some sense of encouragement from inside. And that encouragement is given by God. He gives you. Any good activity you do, and if it is spiritual, it gives lasting happiness, bliss. And bad activity you do, you feel guilty feeling. You get that, conscience kills you from inside. You did this wrong, you did this wrong. Which means God has created the world in such a way that those who do bad go to hell and they suffer. And even before going to hell, they suffer with guilt. And those who do good, they go to heaven. And even before going to heaven, they feel happy here. And those who do spiritual, they go beyond heaven to spiritual world. You see? It's amazing. That's why he says, Yajna Shishta Amrita Bhujo. He says, it gives you Amrit results, it gives you. And Yanti Brahma Sanatanam, you go towards the spiritual world, he says. And this type of tapasya, which we do, is explained in Bhagavad Gita. So Yajna means for the pleasure of Vishnu, Dan means charity for the pleasure of Vishnu, and Tapa means accepting some suffering with your body, with your mind and words, for pleasing Krishna. Let us see what type of suffering we are expected to accept. Text number 14. This is 17th chapter, 14th verse. Please all of you repeat. Devadvija Guru Prajnam Pujanam Shauchamarjavam Brahmacharya Ahimsa Cha Shariram Tapavuchyate. This is Shariram Tapa. Shariram Tapa means tapasya for the sharir, for the body. What is the tapasya? Very simple. He says, Deva means Lord, Supreme Lord. Dvija means the Brahmanas are learned people. Guru, spiritual master. And Prajnam means wise people, like our parents, like mother, father, elder brother, people like that who are learned and wise in the. They may not have spiritual wisdom, they may have worldly wisdom, but still we respect them also, because they are elders to us. So Deva, Dvija, Guru, Prajnam, Pujanam means what? We should worship them. We should worship them, respect them. How we worship them? By doing Dandavat Pranam to them. That's why we worship. Like you offer Pranam to Prabhupada, then you offer here. So one should never feel lazy for offering obeisances. Like sometimes one offers obeisances with one hand or one side or something. One should never be lazy, because it's austerity of the body. Yes, there may be trouble in bowing down, but we are all young people. Young people can easily bow down. You are not an old man. So this is austerity of the body. Similarly, dancing in Kirtan is also austerity of the body. Some days you dance, you feel great ecstasy. You feel like flying in the sky. You feel very happy. Another day you dance, you don't feel so much happiness. You think, oh, today dancing is boring for me. But still we do it. Why we do it? It's austerity of the body. We do it. Because our mind always will say, sometimes mind will think, this is pleasurable. Oh, this is boring. But we don't care for the mind. What we do with the mind? We catch the neck of the mind and throw him away out of the window. And we follow what God wants us to do. That is tapasya. You know that this is right for me to do. For example, Tulsi Maharani, we water her and we circumambulate. It takes a little bit of trouble. In Indian homes, if you see, ladies regularly do in many homes. In every home there is a Tulsi Dal. In the morning a lady gets up. For women also there are austerities. If you see, you have to rise early in the morning, come out of the home. Like my sisters when they were small girls, when they were very young, my mother trained them. They would get up in the morning and take water in a bucket and sprinkle water outside, and they put rangoli outside. You have seen that? And then they go inside. Of course, they have to take a bath before all that. They go inside in the puja room also, they ponch it, and then they put a rangoli there. And then they go and get the flowers, they make a garland and keep it ready. They keep some milk ready for the offering and everything. All that they would do. Because it is said woman actually rises even before the man in a house, isn't it? So, like women have their duties, man has his duty also. Like you will see, Krishna also rises early in the morning and performs his duty by giving charity to Brahmanas, by performing yajna. He performs yajna, dana, tapa, all this in Dwaraka, you will find. Setting an example for all human beings. So, in the Ajamila section, Prabhupada explains in the second chance book, how Ajamila, he's a Brahmana boy. So naturally he would get up in the morning, he would bow down to his mother and father. Then he would go and bow down to his guru. Then he would go to the temple, then ring the bell and bow down before God and pray to him, may my day go properly today. May I not commit any sinful activities during the day. May I not hurt any other living beings. May I not injure anyone. May the activities that I will do today be beneficial to everybody. So one actually begins the day with auspicious note like that. In our voice centers, we have a first-class morning program. We have beginning with chanting, then after that you have Mangalarati, then you have hearing, then you go to college. So the morning slot is a spiritual slot, right from the time we get up from the bed. It's a beautiful. In the bed itself, we offer obeisances, and we chant the Guru's name, Prabhupada's name, and then we pray to them that let me do things which will benefit me and others today. Let me keep myself Krishna conscious all day. Like that, get up. So this is actually Deva Dvija Guru Prajnam Pujanam. Shaucham means what? Cleanliness. You remember in another class I spoke elaborately. How can you keep the body clean? Externally by bathing. At least bathe once a day, minimum once a day, if possible twice a day. We should bathe the body. And also whenever we pass stool, we should take a bath, because the whole body gets contaminated. And then we also wear fresh dress. We only wear cleaned dress. We never wear a dress for the second time. We wash it and we wear it. That is cleanliness of the dress. Then cleanliness in speech also. How we speak, that will come. Similarly, cleanliness in thinking, cleanliness in heart, everything is there. But here especially the cleanliness of the body is being spoken. We have to keep our body clean. Like you see, whenever I would travel, I would carry this wet towel, like just fold the wet towel, keep it in a carry bag, and keep it in the bag inside. And then I would travel 25-30 hours, go to some other place. And then when I go to that place, when I would take out the towel, it will be like very smooth, like sada hua, you say, like a rotten, it looks like that. But I didn't know that some bacteria was coming up, some black dots were coming in that. I didn't know. But when I started using the towel, after bathing, for purging the body, something caught and led to some skin rashes. So one of the doctors recently was telling that the wet towel should never be kept like that. We should dry it completely. Otherwise, if we keep it wet for a prolonged period of time, you catch. So that is also cleanliness. You understand? We have to wash the cloth properly with soap and rinse and everything. There should be no uncleanliness. So he was telling, just because of this one small uncleanness, doctor says the treatment is 1 month treatment. Every day you have to put some honey, milk, and this what powder? Guptan powder in the body. The whole cleaning the rashes, it takes almost 2 hours every day. Can you imagine? For 1 month you have to give 2 hours every day. So he was telling you have to be clean. We learned that you have to be more clean. You understand? Keeping the body clean. Similarly, then what he says, Shaucham, Pujanam Shaucham, Arjavam means simplicity. Simplicity in dealings with others, which means non-duplicitous. Recently I was hearing one very nice slogan. Bahar aur, Bhitar aur, Yata Bagula Vesh, he says. You know the Bagula? Bagula, you know? Crane. Bagula Vesh, he says. And then he says, उससे बढ़कर अच्छा उस व्यक्ति से बढ़कर अच्छा कौवा बाहर भीतर एक, he says. What is the meaning of this? A Bagula, what he does, externally he is pure white. He looks like a very clean person. So he is standing with one leg in the, in a lake or something like this, bowing his head down, like a statue, He doesn't move at all. And all the fishes are moving here and there, they are talking amongst themselves. Hey, is it some murti or something? Some statue? This bird is not moving at all. He seems to be a gentlemanly crane. He doesn't eat us. Because generally other birds, they eat the fishes. And then when fishes go nearby, he is waiting for the biggest fish. When he gets a big fish, immediately he will catch it and he will eat. So, he behaves like a gentleman, but he eats the fishes. So that is why he says, Bahar aur, Bhitar aur, he says. Bagula Vesh, he says. Whereas a kauva, a crow is not a bird which is liked by anybody. Because the crow is blackish in color. Kra 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 is making sound and people drive the crow away. And also the crow sits in a dustbin, pulling out some dirty things from the dust and eats. So externally also it's unclean, internally also it's not clean. It doesn't take a very good bath. It takes a crow bath, you say, no? Like that, a few drops only he puts. So he says crow is better. He says why? He doesn't pose himself to be a gentleman outside. He frankly takes out all. So there are so many people in this world who are externally, internally unclean. They are considered to be the crow. But one should not, in the name of being a gentlemanly person, one should not put a duplicitous role. You understand, no? Duplicitous role means, Muh mein Ram, Bagal mein Churi, is there, no? That one should not do. Somebody may be pretending like a devotee but doing chalukam inside. Like, somebody may be putting tilak, kantimala but sitting in a room inside and watching pornography. There are even karmi boys who don't watch pornography, you know that? But after becoming devotee, if we watch, it's a seventh offense against the holy name. We are committing offense, we are committing sinful activities on the strength of the holy name. You understand? We need simplicity. So, with our in our dressing, in our speech, and everything, we need simplicity, he says. Opposite of simplicity is duplicity. Yeah. And then he says, Pujanam, Shaucham, Arjavam. And then Brahmacharya means no sex outside marriage or no sex before marriage. That is Brahmacharya. And the actual meaning of Brahmacharya is Brahmachari. One who is always, his heart is fixed in Krishna. He is always thinking about Krishna, how to go back home, back to Godhead. Brahma is actually spiritual. His mind is on spiritual life. He doesn't get carried away by the material allurements of this world. He is Brahmachari. Ahimsa means no violence. Don't delight in torturing other creatures, like throwing a stone at a dog and hurting the dog, or putting one's foot on an ant. Nowadays they have like this bad kind of thing for burning the mosquitoes. Like that they burn, you see. And it gives some delight for them because it makes sound also. But the mosquito is getting roasted. You should never do that. If you are facing trouble from mosquitoes, you have a mosquito net. You go and say, don't kill the mosquito. That is also himsa. So this is ahimsa. And also, modern man is keeping the dog on his lap and sending the cows to slaughterhouse. That's also very great himsa. You see? Actually, cows should be kept inside the house and dogs should be kept at the door. Modern man is doing the opposite. Exactly the opposite he is doing. Just like in the Vedic times, people would eat inside the house and pass stool outside. Modern man passes stool inside, and for eating he goes to hotel outside. You see? Exactly opposite he does. You see? So, the killing of children in the womb, which is abortion, and killing of millions of cows, very great himsa. So that is, although somebody may say, cow or goat or chicken is very tasty for the tongue, one should avoid it. That is ahimsa. That is tapasya also. Some of you are eating meat before. So now we are following ahimsa now. That is tapasya. And this is for the body. And then he says for the speech also. Please repeat this. Anudvegakaram vakyam satyam priyahitam chayat Swadhyayabhyasanam chaiva Vangmayam tapa uchyate. Yeah. Austerity of speech consists in speaking words that are truthful. Satyam. We should speak the truth. Don't tell lies. And priya, pleasing. Hita means what? Hit, beneficial. And anudvega karam, vakya. And not agitating to others. And also in regularly reciting the Vedic literature. Swadhyaya abhyasanam chaiva. Vangmayam tapochite. Swadhyaya abhyasanam means like reciting the verses of Bhagavad Gita. Reciting verses of Bhagavatam. And studying the spiritual literature is also Vangmayam tapa means reciting it loudly with our tongue. Reciting the verses. Now I am speaking about Krishna. This is also Vangmaya tapa. Vangmaya tapa means using the tongue for glorification of Krishna and not for using some vulgar words. Nowadays in colleges, for every sentence they have one prefix and suffix vulgar word. You can find in the college. That is opposite of this. They are not having the vachak tapas. They are not having. Tapas means you have to control. As soon as something bad happens, many boys, use some bad word and say, they curse the situation, they curse the other boys, they curse the teacher. Correct, no? Yeah. And they use dirty words, bad words, which becomes a second nature for them. So, Vangmaya tapa means we should never speak bad words. Similarly, while dealing with your other equal friends or seniors, juniors, sometimes you may become loose in your speech. You may call some bad words. It's likely. Some people use bad words in Hindi or Gali Dena. That is opposite of Vangmaya tapa. Vangmaya tapa means you have to control. And Swadhyaya abhyasanam chaiva. How can you control the tongue? By speaking purely. By reciting Bhagavad Gita verses, and while walking, going, coming, remember some Vaishnava song and you sing it. That is Vangmaya tapa. Then our tendency to speak bad things will be gone. And anudvega karam vakyam. Don't speak in a way agitating to others. Sometimes you see two boys, one boy says something to another boy and that fellow becomes angry. And then he shouts back. And this boy shouts back. And the result is they start catching each other's collar. And then start punching on each other's nose and cheeks. You have seen that in the colleges? Sometimes it happens. Sometimes they catch the shirt and pull it and tear it. And people are watching, especially sometimes when it happens in front of the girls. And boys and girls. Then the boys become even more mad. Sometimes they make groups also. Hamara group, tumhara group. Then two groups attack. Immediately the principal has to call the police. You have seen that? Yeah. So what starts with the tongue goes to the body. Eventually, you can see that. And you will see somebody scolded somebody's mother, and that fellow scolded somebody's father. You will see that. Somebody, and then they start hitting and punching and pounding. You can see that. So that is why one should control the tongue. Because it is said the tongue has no bones, but it can break our bones. If we speak some improper things. Sometimes in a bus or train also you find people saying something and then getting into a big fight. You have seen that? So we have to control. Don't speak in a way agitating to others' minds. And even with materialistic people, when we deal with them, we should try to speak to them very politely and respectfully, and not make enmity with anybody. Always try to be friendly with everybody. Actually, some people have a very sweet tongue. Like I remember in my college days, I used to go to my uncle's house in Chennai. My uncle and aunt, they would tell me, you have come such a long distance, please take, would you like to have some juice? Please have some juice. Please take some rest. And then, I would feel as if I am going to my home only. Because generally the children get a lot of love from the mother. Is it not true? Mother and father. So, when somebody speaks in a way very pleasing to us, it's very soothing to our heart. Is it not true? And as devotees, when we are preaching, if we don't learn the art of speaking in a pleasing way, especially to people who are very new, totally new. See, everyone in this world is thinking, what is in it for me? Is it not true? When you meet new people, you unless you learn the art of listening to them, and also appreciating them, encouraging them, congratulating them if they get good results. Even if they increase from 1 round to 2 rounds, you appreciate them. All of you got appreciation when you were coming for the classes and subsequently to Sankalp Surti and all, correct? From who all you got appreciation? From seniors, right? The facilitators and other brahmacharis who are coming. So you got a lot of encouragement. Even now you are continuing to get also, correct? Because without such encouragement, none of us can progress in spiritual life. Is it not true? Imagine from the day one only, as soon as you came, if somebody told you, hey, you are a fool, you are a muff, you don't know, you are not the body, you are the soul. If somebody told you would have run away. Is it not true? And that is why my spiritual master used to often say that preach to the heart, used to say. So don't speak harshly to very new people. At the same time, Prabhupada says here, the purport, one should not speak in such a way as to agitate the minds of others. Of course, when a teacher speaks, he can speak the truth for the instruction of his students. But such a teacher should not speak to those who are not his students if he will agitate their minds. This is penance as far as talking is concerned, he said. So, Satyam Bruyat, Priyam Bruyat, it is said. Tell the truth in a very sweet way, it is said. Like you all know, we say, the child when he is born, he spills, and then he drills, and then he builds. So when we say this, many people enjoy this, but through fun, they are learning a very deep philosophy which is very painful. Is it not? So even the painful things you can try to present in a very pleasurable manner. Like I wrote a poem on this, I'm not able to find that poem, that work hard like a donkey. There's a poem, probably in this, I written that poem. It's there in that Surati camp. We have one booklet. We have that booklet. Let go. You have that? One booklet? A second. It was in this book. I put it in one of these places. So there is a poem. So why did I write that poem? The poem is funny, but through the poem we are teaching some very... So people like poems, isn't it? I don't know where is it coming in this book. Anyway, if you get it, I'll show you. I got it? Yeah, this is the one. Here I put it here. Oh, maybe it's in the other one. You have the other booklet? Is it the latest one or the old one? Here I have cut it. It's there in the old one. Anyway, it's a poem which talks about power gun. I told you about power gun today. Parishram Sena. It's about that. He wrote in the poem. So we should try to speak it sweetly. But Prabhupada says the teacher can instruct the students, which may apparently be considered harsh. But if a teacher doesn't tell the truth, imagine if you speak only very, very pleasing to people. If you tell the boys, you are nice, your activities are nice, and the result will be what? Your boy will never grow in spiritual life. Correct, no? You have to tell him, Prabhu, you have to chant Hare Krishna. Prabhu, please come for the class. Like, when we hold camps, sometimes boys may not want to come. They may say, Prabhu, I will go home and I will enjoy watching TV. So you have to tell them little strongly. No, Prabhu, you have to come for the camp. It's very important. Please come. So you have to sometimes be firm also to them. But how we should be firm? Like a iron fist with a velvet gloves. Say, Velvet gloves is love and care. Iron fist is instruction. So you have to package the instruction with love and care and give it. Boom. The person will say, hey, who is punching me? And then you see the velvet, you say, no problem. Velvet is there. Looks nice, like a sponge, So we should give instruction which is encapsulated with love and care. That type of teaching we should do. Then people will. So, like the Prabhupada is saying. Besides that, one should not talk nonsense. The process of speaking in spiritual circles is to say something upheld by the scriptures. One should at once quote from scriptural authority to back up what he is saying. Prabhupada said we should be like lawyers. Anybody asks anything, you should be able to say something and quote a verse from Bhagavad Gita. Verse number 7.14, 18.66, like that. Prabhupada wanted us to be like lawyers. At the same time, such talk should be very pleasurable to the ear. Satyam bruyat, priyam bruyat, means very pleasurable. By such discussions, one may derive the highest benefit and elevate human society. There is a limitless stock of Vedic literature, and one should study this. This is called penance of speech. You understand? Anudvega karam vakyam satyam priya hitam chayat, he says. And then, this is the last in the series. Manaprasada samyatvam maunam atma vinigraha bhava samshuddhirityeta tapo manasamuchyate. Satisfaction, simplicity, gravity, self-control and purification of one's existence are the austerities of the mind, he says. Prabhupada says in purport, to make the mind austere is to detach it from sense gratification. This is a very powerful purport. You can note down the verse number 17.16. 17.16. Powerful purport it is. What is the meaning of austerity of the mind? To detach it from sense gratification. This is the toughest thing to do. Because all our senses, Shabda, Sparsha, Rasa, Rupa, Gandha, they always want sense gratification. Eyes want to see beautiful woman. Ears want to hear sweet sounds. Hand wants to touch some soft objects. And the nose wants to smell something fragrant. And the tongue wants to keep on tasting something delicious, tasty like that, you see. And the skin hankers for sex life, you see. Twach. So, Shabda, Sparsha, Rasa, Rupa, Gandha. Everything wants sense gratification. Have you seen that picture with a man with big hands coming and showing him in the nose? You've seen that picture, isn't it? They all are pulling us in 5 different directions like this. That is why austerity of the mind means to detach our mind from sense gratification. It should be so trained that it can be always thinking of doing good for others. Often we think of doing good to ourselves only. Now we should think of doing good for others. The best training for the mind is gravity in thought. What is the meaning of gravity in thought? We should not think loosely, dirty things. Like before going to bed, you bow down. Maybe you can chant Narsimha Arti or something. And then you go to sleep. Don't try to think of women at the time of going to bed because you will have bad dreams. Similarly, one should keep the mind pure. He says, one should not deviate from Krishna consciousness and must always avoid sense gratification. To purify one's nature is to become Krishna conscious. Satisfaction of the mind can be obtained only by taking the mind away from the thoughts of sense enjoyment. See, amazing concept it is. The more you put the mind in sense enjoyment, the more mind will hanker. The more you take the mind away from sense enjoyment and put it in Krishna, the mind will be satisfied. You will see that. This is a very amazing phenomenon that Shastra has explained. The more you focus in spiritual life, the mind will become calm, cool, collected, and peaceful in spiritual life. Although spiritual life is a little difficult in the beginning. In the beginning it's like trekking a mountain. In the beginning it's little, but once you do it, once you achieve the higher taste, then there is no coming down, coming back. Like stay high forever. Then you can go high. So on the other hand, sense gratification appears to be easily available, But then easily you access it, when you come in contact with sense objects, they increase your hankering more and more. Increase your suffering more and more, like that is saying. The more we think of sense enjoyment, the more the mind becomes dissatisfied. In the present age, we unnecessarily engage the mind in so many different ways for sense gratification, and so there is no possibility of the mind's becoming satisfied. The best course is to divert the mind to the Vedic literature, which is full of satisfying stories like the Puranas, Mahabharata and everything. One can take advantage of this knowledge and thus become purified. The mind should be devoid of duplicity, and one should think of the welfare of all. So Prabhupada is giving a clue to us here. Read Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Mahabharata, Ramayana and all these things and divert the mind towards them. And then you will gradually learn about God. And this is austerity, to read Prabhupada's book reading. You all do Prabhupada's book reading? Sometimes, you feel little difficulty. How long you read? Half an hour you read? 20 minutes? Yeah. Someday it's very interesting. Someday mind will say, oh, I am tired now, I want to take rest. But still you do it. That is tapasya also. So, mana prasadaha means satisfaction. How will you get satisfaction? Only if you do Krishna consciousness for a prolonged period of time, then you get deep satisfaction. But the contact of the senses and sense objects, that leads to hankering. You will never be satisfied. And Prabhupada also said, don't combine these two, Krishna consciousness and sense gratification. We should be gradually giving up sense gratification, and you cannot totally give up. We are allowed to eat, allowed to sleep and all that. But sense gratification means atmendriya priti vancha, tare balikam. We say, trying to gratify one's senses beyond what one's quota is allowed, and not Krishnaizing everything. So one should, it is a very, very amazing purport it is. And then he says, Maunam, keep the tongue not vibrating unnecessarily, speaking gossip. Because the tongue and the mind are connected. When the tongue vibrates, the mind becomes hyperactive. But when the tongue vibrates about Krishna, the mind becomes active, remembering Krishna also. When the tongue is vibrating some worldly things, then the mind also becomes filled with worldly things also. They are connected. That's why Maunam, he says. Although Maunam is, like that, here Tapa Manasam Uchyate, Maunam is for the tongue, but it's used in Tapa Manasam Uchyate. For the mind he is saying Maunam. Maunam has to be in the mind, not only in because the man is Maunam, having Maunam, then tongue also will have Maunam. Which means tongue will not speak useless things. It will always speak about Krishna. Yeah. And then Atma Vinigraha means one should control the mind from sense gratification. Not only you should withdraw the senses from sense gratification, but mind also should be withdrawn. That is called Shama. Dhamma and Shama, Atma Vinigraha. And Bhava Samshuddhir, purification of our existence. The mind, the silence means that one is always thinking of self-realization. The person in Krishna consciousness observes perfect silence in this sense. Control of the mind means detaching the mind from sense enjoyment. That is control of the mind. It's not that control of car means what? Do you stop the car? No. Stop the car from, going in the wrong direction. But the car should go in the right direction. Similarly, control of the mind doesn't mean that, you just make the mind dull or blank or something. No. Engage the mind in Krishna consciousness. One should be straightforward in his dealings and thereby purify his existence. All these qualities together constitute austerity in mental activities. Yeah. Actually, why we should be straightforward in dealing? If you do some cheating, you can't be peaceful. Like sometimes a cook, he steals mobile, or he steals some money of some people. Can he be peaceful? Yeah. All the time there is tension. Anytime मैं पकड़ा जाऊंगा. They will check my locker. Before that I should take it and send it to my home. He is planning, and then when he is caught. That's why one should be straightforward in dealings. Clean in dealings. In money dealing, woman dealing, one should be very clean. If you are a man of character and straightforward, you are peaceful in mind. So these are tapasya for the mind, he says. So we have completed all the three types of tapasya: Sharira tapa, Mana tapa, and Vangmaya tapa. Three things. And our morning program is also a tapasya program. Somebody may say, Prabhuji, but we are enjoying also. Yes, tapasya gives Brahmasaukyam eventually. If you are getting Brahmasaukyam already, you are very fortunate soul. Even with little tapasya, you are getting Brahmasaukyam. But Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada said, it's a very joyful process. Susukam kartum avyayam. In the 9th chapter, Krishna says, it is joyfully performed by those who are surrendered. But those who are not surrendered, for them it's a little painful. So, in case we find it's painful because we are not submissive and obedient. But if you become more and more surrendered and more obedient and more submissive internally and more grateful for what you are getting, you will find the morning program will become very jolly for you, enjoyable. And you all have come in this third semester. You are in third semester now? Yeah, so the austerities of the morning program have begun for you, and you are doing it every day. And if you have any difficulty, you can share with your seniors and take guidance from them how to do that. Probably you should go to bed early, and the evening time you should do studies, college studies, very nicely. Nobody should go to preach and bring new boys without completing your study quota. This is my compulsory statement I have made everywhere. You should have a weekly study quota. Is it already made? Yeah. You should not say that it's beginning of the semester. Right from the beginning you all should study. If your seniors are sending you out for preaching, but you have not completed study quota, you can tell them. Prabhuji Radhesham has said that we should complete study quota, then only we'll go for preaching. Otherwise don't go for preaching if they send you with the facilitators. I have clearly told. Because we generally find the trend in our centers, boys are mad for going and preaching and getting new boys and preaching to them, talking, and they don't do the studies. And when studies are affected, then you go down in studies, and then the same boys whom you brought, they'll go away. They will see that our senior has not got good marks, so they'll go away. So, all of you, balance your life nicely. Morning for Krishna and evening for studies. Balance it very nicely. And do this tapasya, because the tapodivyam, divya tapasya will take you back to Godhead at the end of your life. But even while living, you will be living a very peaceful life. See, if you follow these 3 types of tapasya I told you, 17, chapter 14, 15, 16 verses. You can read these 3 verses leisurely. If you do this, you will become friendly with everybody. If you do these 3, you can become friendly with everybody. You will not have any quarrel or misunderstanding with anybody. If you do these 3 tapasya. Tapasya means you have to restrain yourself. Through your chanting, you will get Shakti to restrain yourself. The biggest problem in this world is interpersonal clashes with people. Everybody has their ego. You have your ego, they have their ego. And how to control our ego? Through these 3 types of tapasya. You do it, then you will see you will make friendship with everybody. And then everybody will love you. When people see you becoming more saintly and more godly, and more control in your mind and senses, the respect and love for you will increase. And then that way you will lead, you are not warring against anybody, warring against Krishna also you are not doing. Then you are preparing your way back to Godhead by that such tolerance. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki. This lecture is especially kept in 3rd semester because they have just come in boys. They have started doing tapasya. They are getting some questions in their mind. My Lord, this seems to be a little too much.